we'll call to order the April 20th meeting of the North Kooch Area Sanitary District. The roll call. 7 members here and Tom Worth via interactive means. Okay, Tom? Can people see Tom or? Okay. All right, let's start right in. Ken Anderson, City Administrator of City of International Falls.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. At the last meeting, the city, you had considered a letter that the City of International Falls had submitted just requesting or trying to determine if you had any interest in having your property annexed into the City of International Falls. I know that there was some discussion and you hadn't had an opportunity to really look at the proposed map for annexing or what properties are going to be annexed into the city, and so you table it until this meeting, and so I'm just here to respond to any questions and be able to report back to the City Council whether you'd like to have the North Kooch Ponds annexed into the City of International Falls or not.
Yeah, well, you brought that up last meeting, and we didn't actively seek this. I mean, we were.
That's good.
You just asked, the city just asked us to weigh in on it, you know, I looked at it a little bit, and we have no. I mean, I personally have no objection. I wonder if any of the other board members has.
It's a non-cost factor to the North Kooch, right?
Pardon?
No, it's not a cost factor to us, so there's no reason why we can't annex it in.
Right, yeah.
Well, I'd like to make a motion we annex it in.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, any discussion? This shouldn't change, I mean, this won't change any of our operation. This just makes it easier for the International Falls to carry out any further planning.
I mean, on our map that's provided, there is a yellow shaded area that includes the ponds, and it also includes the city gun range, the police gun range. Is that correct?
Well, there's properties east of the North Kooch Area Sanitary District property proper, which is the ponds, and that's owned by the city. City Council hasn't discussed that, but what we have discussed is the 40 acres directly north of the ponds, and then the multimodal property, and then there's also approximately, I don't remember the acreage, but Wagner Construction Site, some distance south of the North Kooch Ponds. Those are already being proposed for annexation, and as part of that discussion, that's why the City Council asked if any of the surrounding properties would like to be annexed into the city. I don't know exactly the location of the gun range in relation to the ponds, but I believe it's on the city property to the east of the district.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, take the roll call vote.
Yes.
Doug?
Yes. I vote yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And yes. Tom, sorry, Tom.
And then, Mr. Chairman, just for the board's information, we don't have it on the City Council agenda this evening. I will give them a verbal report of your indication. I believe the city attorney will not be there, but we'll formally have it on the discussion of the annexation, which is on the May 4th agenda.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have here on the agenda this new part of it, this additions and deletions. I think we could just as well do that if anybody on the board wants to bring something up that's of crucial nature. We could bring that up in probably in new business as well. I know Don had questioned this before, and so can we just forget about that? We can delete the additions and deletions until you're satisfied with.
Through the chair.
Okay, I mean, I just wanted to make sure you were happy with that.
One question.
Okay,
Sure. A meeting several months ago, a board member asked to add something to it, to the agenda at the beginning of a meeting, and the acting chair at the time said absolutely not. So what is this, adding this part on the agenda
yeah.
leaves the door open to, if someone wanted to add something to agenda, they could make a motion to add something to the agenda.
Yeah, no, you're talking about at the beginning of the meeting, yeah, I don't know. We could talk about this later. The Robert's Rules of Order is got, there are 12 different editions, you know, and they suggest that may be a possibility, or any new business, or any business that the members want to bring up, they can bring up in new business.
I don't know if it's proper, but I know we have council members and we have county board reps, and I'd like to get their opinion on whether or not that's acceptable. Wade is back there.
Yeah,
Ask him that question. Art Brian is here. Brian's on the county board. Do they allow additions to the agenda?
I think that is, like John said, it's at the will of the board and the chairman. The county board operates, it has to be added to the agenda at the start of the meeting and voted on.
Okay, I agree with that.
okay. All right, let's take a look at the minutes. Everybody read the minutes of the March 16th meeting?
Mr. Chair, I would so move to approve the minutes of the March 16th meeting.
Okay, there's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Doug is seconded. Any discussion? If none,
Mr. Chairman, I have discussion. Am I taking minutes? And it's a viable question. Do you want me to take minutes today and you're gonna decide later how that's gonna happen? We brought it
okay,
back.
this is a good time for discussion of this. Has anybody got any thoughts on whether we should have the secretary or the administrative assistant take minutes, or whether we want the director to take minutes?
What have we done in the past?
Always been the director.
The rules say the secretary, but previous boards have passed it to the director or the executive secretary.
Does anybody have a problem with what we've been doing?
Uh,
John, Mr. Chairman,
yeah, go ahead, Tom.
it takes two people to do the minutes, and it's the responsibility of the director, but the secretary and the director work together to do the minutes, so it's a responsibility of Chopper, but anyway, it takes two people to do the minutes.
Thank you, Tom. Go ahead.
In the past, did Carol do the minutes?
No. Did Carol ever do minutes?
I've done the majority of the minutes and have relied on the administrative assistant to help edit, correct spelling, show a mistake in the motion, because they have all jotted down who made motions and seconds to back up what I put down in the minutes. Sometimes I don't see exactly or hear exactly who did it, and there have been mistakes.
Well,
Do you,
sorry. So like McCarthy and Mueller was East Kooch, but McCarthy, he took minutes?
McCarthy and Worth and Dick Devendit took minutes.
Stacy takes East Kooch minutes, correct? Yeah.
Can we have a comment from the new secretary? As to,
As far as I'm concerned, it's worked well in the past.
Okay.
Take to continue.
So we don't have to make any motion to do anything different than what we're doing.
John,
Okay,
I'd like to ask Tom. Tom was the director. Did you take minutes, Tom?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Once again, it's part of both, because the secretarial skills are needed, and also sometimes you get to a place where you don't know what somebody says, and two kids are handled better than one, so it's kind of a cooperative effort, but it is the responsibility of the director. That doesn't mean that he has to do
Well, I guess that's where we're missing pieces of it, what the responsibilities are of everybody. And so, you know, it would be nice to have that in front of us, but we don't.
Well, actually, according to our bylaws, I believe the secretary on the board is supposed to take minutes, but that's never happened. Since I've been on the, since we started, the director has taken the minutes, and then the secretary has gone over, taken them, corrected them, whatever. So it's kind of, it's just a cooperative effort, but it's kind of a hard thing for a board member to do, because it's hard to participate on the board and take minutes at the same time. So you need a cooperative effort between the director and the assistant. So it works well the way it is.
All right. Okay, we can revisit this some other time, but better move on here.
Need a vote on that, Mr. Chairman.
We got to vote on the motion that's to accept the minutes of the last month's meeting. So,
Yes.
Yes. I vote yes.
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 Yes?
and I vote yes. Okay, Mark Hallen is here from Whitson Smith Knowlton. Can you give us a construction project update?
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. Let's say, not much has been going on the last few months, except back in January, if you remember, the Gritter Labor sprayed the VFD in the gravity belt thickener room, and it gave troubles. So they replaced the VFD this last month here in March, because you're producing a lot more biosolids, because they're not heading up to the river. Staff started up the gravity belt thickener, started putting it in the tank, and after about 4 or 5 days, the VFD that they replaced itself caused an issue. John Harris, one morning, when he restarted the pump. So, as of last Thursday, Hunt was up along with the Gritter Labor, and they installed a new VFD for pump P48 that was put in service last Thursday morning and started up. Along, we finally got our new mag meter in. We had, I think, 7 mag meters on this project, and one of them actually went bad. So that was replaced under warranty, and that new mag meter was installed in. It actually measures the rate that's pumped with the gravity belt thickener. So, with those 2 items completed last Thursday, Rick Weiser with Ashbrook Salmon Hartley out of Texas scheduled his field guy. He is flying into the falls today. He will be here tomorrow now to then finalize their punch list items on the gravity belt thickener control panel that we originally had scheduled in January, but then canceled because of the accident with the VFD. So right now, I say that's, that work is scheduled for this week. And I'll say that's one of the last major items with respect to the gravity belt thickener. They never did have, they have a timer right in their panel, but they didn't have it controlling pump P48. So, they're here all week. I've got, got the email, so we're gonna get those items addressed. As far as, spring weather here, it's, well, it is coming, but, from the standpoint of bringing Gritter back to be, continuing with their site restoration and, finishing up what they never did get planted, and they're doing quite a bit of the corrective work on what bio rolls that are now rolled up due to the wind without enough staples and everything. That work is really gonna wait until, we have to really wait till after the fishing opener when your ground temperatures here and everything warm up enough to, to plant seed. I mean, right now you plant anything, she's simply not gonna do everything. So I just, what I told Chopper and Greg is, yes, everyone wants to get antsy, but, they can be up here doing painting and other punch list items, but actual site work, we're gonna start that in the month of May when, when temperatures allow, for things to start to germinate and get going on that. So that's really like I say, the pump P48 VFD, that work, the mag meter's in, and then like I say, we're waiting for the punch list items here for, a lot of the exterior site stuff today. I did, Greg, as we were in there this morning, left, I sent an email to Greg Tyson last week asking kind of your plan, never heard back from him, but one of his laborers showed up this morning. I've not yet talked with him, or so, but I will go down, find out what he's here for, and his, and what work they're going to start continuing on here during the, the month of April, last month of April, 1st of May here. So I've not had did not receive anything either verbally or in writing from the contractor what he's, what his plans are here for the next 3 or 4 weeks. But I did, staff did spot a labor here. I think Johnny, was it? Yeah, okay, is that who came waltzing through? So like I say, I don't know anything, I'll know more, and Greg and I will talk to him later this morning, after the meeting, so. So that's everything I have just on the construction progress. If there's any questions or comments?
The VFD, was that covered under warranty?
Yes. Yep. Well, I mean, well, okay, first, Gritter Construction themselves damaged the original, VFD. But they were cleaning up and they sprayed it and they damaged it. So, so that's covered under, so from the standpoint of, this new VFD that we have in there now, from the standpoint, yes, it is now under warranty still, because we have the manufacturer's warranty. And like I say, once we get Ashbrook Simon Hartley in, because what I'll offer is to date, our gravity belt thickener system has never operated. I mean, we've operated and everything and used it, but I'll just say the control panel has never operated as originally designed. So once we, get this, get everything going on it, then we'll, like you say, we'll start the clock ticking on their, on this new VFD and the control panel.
So there is a new warranty date to be set.
Well, just on those manufacturer items, if you like, I mean, your August 11th of 2014 was your substantial completion date. So that's your 1 year overall general warranty on, on the project. But like I say, when we have specific items that come up, Gritter damaged it, okay? It didn't go out as part of operations. So I mean, like I say, it's a good question from the standpoint, this is where things can get, so we want to make sure we put it in writing, kind of the startup report after Ashbrook Simon Hartley leaves this week. Here's where we're at with everything. And, from the standpoint of this VFD, this new one that we have in, it's, now starts its warranty period from the standpoint of, with the manufacturer. Yep.
You're talking about a new VFD, but isn't that rebuilt? Is it rebuilt or repaired, and is that the same one that we sent?
It is not the same VFD. When Barry was here the week before or 2 weeks before, when we did all the testing and we took it out. Okay, the VFD that we've got back, okay, is not the one that was taken out. Now, whether it is a rebuilt VFD or a brand new one, I have yet to receive the paperwork through Hunt Electric, i.e. through Gritter Construction, on the status of that new, of the Allen Bradley VFD that was installed last Thursday. So, but I mean, whether it's, I guess from the standpoint with respect to the warranty, I mean, it's considered a new VFD. Now, whether they, because the turnaround was too fast for them to take the old one and repair it. So, I mean, from that standpoint, I just know it's not the same. But as far as the status of where, like I said, John, I do not have the paperwork yet as far as the, that piece of equipment.
How about the punch list? Where are we at on the punch list? And I mean, is there a copy? Maybe the board wants to see that.
Well, again, I mean, the punch list. Joel was very adamant. When we went through our mitigation in February, we had the punch list. Staff added. We added those items. So I mean, we have that all. That was part of the number that was set at $75,000 that the board withheld on the retainage. You released $213,000 back in February, but you held that amount. For the literally the dozens of punch list items, from painting, a lot of it site restoration, to smaller items that are on that. The punch lists are all from last fall, and then we added a few items. So I mean,
I worry about the $75,000. Now, was that just a negotiated figure, or was that an estimated figure of the cost of all the punch list items? I mean, will $75,000 cover all the punch list items?
Yes, I mean, during that mediation, I remember, we started out, in the numbers of, say, for the general conditions, you can hold 2 times the value. I was discussing numbers between the $30,000 and $40,000 figure, and then your legal counsel, like you say, made the recommendation to go to $75,000, approximately twice the value of what the, the numbers that we were trying to pull together that afternoon, John. So from the standpoint of, yes, you have a substantial amount of money, to cover your, the remaining punch list items. And, for either defective work. Now, that doesn't, like this VFD, that wasn't a punch list item. It since became one, but from the standpoint of, if there's, if you have a roof issue that comes up or something, I mean, that's under your 10-year warranty under the roofs. We don't have, I'll say, a specific amount that we're withholding for any roof. Right now, went through all the roofs and we've got the warranties through Carlisle. But like I said, we're not withholding any money because they've completed punch list items on the roof.
So,
Steve?
so the 75,000 is not to exceed. There's no opportunity for any more further change orders on anything.
Well, that's, right now, that's been the direction of this board. Correct. I mean, the way this project is pretty much set, the tone was set last October, is that the board wishes to wrap this project up with Gritter Construction, and, and then, next on my list is talking about a plate to put down in the, local, in the wet well for pump P2, the recirculation pump for the, the whirlpool that develops. Like I say, right now, I'm gonna be asking to, use a local contractor such as Pellin to weld up the plate when the flows are down this summer, during either, whether it's June, July. Staff will be taking each line offside for maintenance. Then, we'd install that plate, and like I say, we're proposing to do work like that just with a local contractor and not involving Gritter Construction, because we want to close out the project with Gritter Construction and get our, the dollars set. They've pretty much been agreed on, and then, so we can work with TFA and, establish your funding package.
Which makes it puzzling. Why is Gritter up here now? Why do they have it?
Well, they have a substantial punch list for work that they need to complete as part of their, as part of their project. So, so that, like I say, that's why you withheld those dollars. They will complete that work. Like I say, Tom just said, the handrail heading out of his lab down towards the, the 1.4 MGD trickling filter, is not mounted to the wall yet. They've got it socketed into the concrete, but there's, like I say, there are, the dozens of minor items like that Gritter Construction needs to complete as part of their punch list items.
Mark, so depending on the weather, we should probably be pretty well wrapped up with Gritter by the middle of June?
Yep, middle of June. Like I said, I would suspect it'll be your July meeting, by the time I come with a, it'll be, that'll be, I would anticipate it's correct as far as it'll take until June. What then in a payment application of the retainage do we release? All of it? Do we withhold still $5,000, $15,000? What number? Are there still 5 remaining items, or what loose ends, if any, sit out there? And, I would expect that will be on your agenda for your July meeting. If everything goes good, hopefully it could be on there for your June meeting, but I would not suspect that would be the case. It'll probably be July. And and we'll have to push because we don't want it to be August.
Okay.
I guess I had one more question on the plate. You mentioned on the pump. Is that the one pump that's cavitating? So
Yes.
I guess we never really heard that was how they were gonna fix that problem. And you're gonna install a plate down there, and wouldn't that be part of the project?
Well, yeah, from the standpoint, this is the sketch I drew up on March 14th and sent up to staff for, an idea for that, from the standpoint. Like I say, if the board's so directs, like I say, then I'm gonna work with staff, getting a local fabricator to do that. Now, as far as the cost, as far as, new lift stations, everything else, yes, those costs can be part of your overall, PFA package that we wanna try to establish here by the end of July, before we do the final payment application. And then the district works with Nancy Johnson and, essentially closing out your project funding. Yeah, I don't say you don't really close it out. Essentially, it's like buying a home. You essentially you start your mortgage payments. I mean, right now, you've been making payments on interest and stuff, and during your construction period. But essentially, at some point, you need to close it out and enter into the long-term agreement with the twice-a-year payments to the TFA, for the amortization period of your loan.
Okay. Any other questions?
I do not. I I think what the problem we had with that pump, that it was cavitating, it was stuck in a dry or something, and you're gonna install a plate to fix that problem, is that what I understand?
That, I'll offer from the, right now, what I, that is the first step. We're looking at putting a plate on there, to install, to prevent the vortex from forming down to that foot valve, because we're thinking that's what is causing that pump to kick out and then restart itself. If it sucks air, it loses vacuum for a short period. So, I guess, going back to 2 years on our booster pump system, we had issues, with air and that for a long time, and we actually worked out and had a different solution for it. Right now, I'm not gonna, this is our, program or, an attempt we're gonna look at to see if it'll take care of the vortexing, and if it keeps that pump P2, from losing, that's that. If we still have issues with that, we're gonna have to look at other, I'll say a different or alternate solutions for it.
And it shouldn't cost the district anything to do that, should it?
When you
I
say,
don't understand why, I mean, if it was engineered properly, it wouldn't have been cavitating.
well, let's, we'll dig this up from a year and a half ago. The solution was to start digging down deeper in the basement of that existing 1956 building to bring the suction level down below your 2000, so from the standpoint of when we, you say, that was an engineering decision made to, we're lifting about 3 feet, okay? Most pumps, will work, so I won't go into the specifics of it. Yes, we're happy to, but, it was a decision made from the standpoint of not spending tens of thousands of dollars trying to excavate down through the basement, or building a separate structure down at that front and putting a, some type of vertical turbine pump to pump it up the hill, rather than like, like both your other side and what the 1956 did plant, they, you don't really suck, you suck it up the hill 3 feet and then pump it up the rest of the way. So I mean, it was, if you want to call it an engineering mistake design, fine, we can argue that all you want. But like you say, it was a decision made because to start jackhammering and going down in that building would have been horrendously expensive.
I don't anticipate the plate is gonna be too spendy to install.
Nope. So from that standpoint, so. I say, if anybody wants to discuss after the meeting, or, we'll answer any more questions or get into some specifics if you want to talk about something in much more detail, I'll gladly do that.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Also,
Thank you, Mark.
Also, Mr. Chairman, last month you did act on the reduction in WSN's payment from 73,000 to 46,000, but I would like a motion for the records of the formal signature by the chairman and Mark on that agreement, because Mark was not here last month. You have moved on and okayed it, but the official signature has not been done yet.
Okay.
Just a motion.
Reduction in payment by Wetseth on the project?
Remediation, your legal counsel, that afternoon when they were reaching the end of it, you wanted every I dotted and T crossed, so we made an agreement as far as, because, that extra 9 months we were on site. And like I say, after my call with Mr. Van Hout, we agreed to a figure, a little in excess of 70, that we reduced that down to $46,000 as far as an amendment to our basic services for, our engineering agreement. So that's, like I said, I actually had it that day then, with me, that number. But then, like I say, right now, since I was entertaining my daughter during your March meeting, I was not here, so like I say, bringing it before you here for just to finalize that.
I would so move to approve the amendment to the owner-engineer agreement, amendment number 1, indicating the $46,000, and authorize the proper signatures on the document.
Okay, is there a motion? Second? Any discussion?
The April meeting, the March meeting, there was a motion to approve the reduction.
Right, yeah.
So now-
No, this is just to approve the signature, basically,
just to
because
approve the signature.
we didn't have a
And the
signature.
amendment 1.
And the amendment 1. I think we did, yeah. All right, call for the question, Doug?
Yes. Oh, yes.
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 Tom?
I don't get
No, vote yes. Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, John.
Thank you. All right, let's go to the disbursements as of April 20th.
Disbursements are in front of you, Mr. Chairman. 3 pages worth? 4 pages worth. Any questions for myself, Stacy, or Greg?
What was that?
Do you have any questions for?
Oh, on the disbursements, yeah. Yeah, then open the board.
Have a motion.
I would so move to approve the disbursements as of April 20th, 2015.
I'll second for discussion.
All right,
Any
discussion?
I got a question. The blanket authorization.
Yeah.
We're looking at utilities, right? Electric, gas, essential utilities. We authorize the blanket authorization for. Correct.
And medical.
We've talked about medical, and we talked about anything that would cost us penalties. Like the holiday gas card. The mid-con. So all utilities, and things that would cost us penalties. The airport commission has just gone through this whole thing, Keith has gone through this whole thing, and we've gone through it over and over again. And it's good that we got it hashed out.
Okay, we're gonna watch it, but I don't want anything else added into it. I mean, if this is all the essential ones, we should have a list, and these should be held to all these.
We'll, hopefully nothing
90% of
drops
the time,
up.
that's all that's on there. 99% of the time, that's all that's on there.
There's a couple that I have never seen on here.
Which is what?
The Medicare,
It's on there every 3 months.
blank it up, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
And then
Yeah, go ahead, David.
my question to you is, to Stacy or Chopper, these retirees, 3 months benefits, if you don't pay them on or before the 20th, there's a penalty? My understanding, them policies are all paid a month ahead of time. Medicare, Blue, the same thing. One's $25.92, the other one's $614. You've got office internet at $205. Them bills, I don't think should be paid under blanket authorization. The ones that I feel should be would be Minnesota Energy and electricity. And this reimbursement, because we approved that last month.
Yep, it says right on it, it's approved.
Yep. That's what I'm getting at. I've barked about this for quite a while. And I don't remember giving authorization to anybody to pay Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota retirees 3 months benefits last month. And that's what I'm getting at. You people don't seem to understand what I said. You shouldn't be paying bills before we approve them.
Give us a motion and a second telling us what will never be paid. And we'll abide by it.
How do I know what's never going to be paid?
We-
All I'm saying is I'll make a motion to pay the electric bill and the natural gas bill. I will make a motion to pay them under blanket authorization, but nothing else.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, go ahead.
the Blue Cross, is that what you're talking about, Dave? The Blue Cross Blue Shield,
Yeah.
the Minnesota bill? And the Medicare bill? Those are ones you object to?
All of them except Minnesota Energy and Minnesota Power.
Are these?
All of the gas included.
Okay. Are these routine bills that we get billed on a timely basis? It's the same time period each month or every 3 months or whatever?
Yep, and I was able to change American Express. Holiday Gas won't let us change because it's based on where you fall alphabetically. So they will charge us, And Mid-Continent charges a late fee as well. And I tried to change that, they wouldn't change that.
Okay, my next question. Do these numbers, do they vary, or are they the same number every billing period?
Medicare Blue RX and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota are the same every 3 months. Holiday gas varies depending on what's going on. And Mid-Continent, $2 or $3.
Okay. My question is, what is the problem with paying our bills on a timely basis?
There's nothing wrong with paying bills on a timely basis, except bills that change. Were you aware, I'm talking about, were you aware that they were having to pay Blue Cross Blue Shield before you approved it?
Was that what? Now say it
Were
again.
you aware that they were gonna pay Blue Cross Blue Shield $2,592 before you approved it?
If it's part of the blanket authorization, then yeah, I am aware of it.
How are you aware of it? Tell me how you get them in, I don't
Because
see
it's our-
these things.
Because it's our bills.
We're
It's
under
part of doing
contract with
business.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield, so we know this
Okay.
is coming in.
I'll explain a contract to you people. Our electric bill. Stacy didn't get it as of Thursday or Friday when I was in here at noon. We couldn't get our packets because our electric bill wasn't here. That's supposedly already paid.
No, that's next month's coming.
Why would you not have the packet out? Or at least that's what you said to me. Because you didn't have next month's bill. You're not paying next month's bill. How can you get next month's bill? Because
This-
the bill you get today is last month's.
Minnesota Power of $7,069.24. We got after the 16th. The bill I was waiting for yesterday, because our meeting was a week later, I was trying to get it all in so that I wouldn't have to pay it under blanket authorization. Only the plant piece came. The other parts did not come yet. So I'm trying to get it on here so it's not blanket authorization. So I was waiting. I like to get as many bills on as I can to avoid this problem. That's why you were waiting for your packet.
Okay, I believe we're gonna be forced into doing some blanket authorizations and just to try to keep them down. You know, the thing is with, Blue Cross Blue Shield, that's gonna change every year, so, you know, if we had previous,
This comes every 3 months, and I pay 3 months at a time.
but they adjust premiums every 3 months.
I could not pay them, and then if you don't have coverage, come and let me know.
No, that's not the answer,
That's not the
Stacy.
point, that's not the point.
That's not the answer.
Yeah.
I asked a question. This policy that we're paying for here, is that for the last 3 months or the next 3 months?
The next 3 months.
Okay, the next 3 months, we can vote on the other side.
I believe they're April, May, and June,
Yes.
and we're halfway through April.
I think, you know what we
I
should do?
don't know.
David, I think what we should do is call the personnel, or as they call it now, HR, Human Resources Committee meeting to go over some of these benefits and stuff like that, and see if we can, you know, get another quote, other quotes, see if we can do something with this anyway, and then, you know, we'll take a look at the whole wage benefit thing. So, I think this would be appropriate time, right now to name, we don't have a committee as such right now for, HR. And, I think our bylaws say that we call committees as needed. And so, you know, I'd kinda like to name a HR committee, and then the chair can call a meeting and try to straighten some of this stuff up. So we don't go through this every, you know, I mean,
Well, I mean, I thought we had gotten to the
Yeah,
bottom of this.
yeah.
Our routine bills, and I don't care if they're monthly or every 3 months or whatever, they're part of doing business. This is a benefit package that we pay, everybody knows what it is.
it's not the optimum way, but
We're gonna-
I mean, that's,
Well, if we have to sit at every meeting and go through these, this is why we have an administrative assistant. We get our statements. We're audited every year. Are we gonna micromanage every expenditure that this district has?
No, but I think we have responsibility, we're the ultimately responsible parties, and if we see this going up and up, you know, we should maybe take a look at something else.
That's not what we're talking about. We're
Right,
talking
no,
about,
yeah.
we're talking about blanket authorization
Right.
to pay our bills, the bills that
Right,
we
I think
get
that's-
monthly, and
Yeah, I think that's
Quarter.
settled for now, we moved beyond that. So we're
there's
doing the
being
best.
questioned here again.
No, well, okay, but Stacy's doing the best she can. All right, so I thought as far as the personnel committee, I think we should name a committee of 4. However, and the chairman can call, if it's something really important that all the members should be involved in, then the committee chair can call a committee of the whole meeting. And I think that's all makes a lot of sense. So if, I mean, Steve, would you be willing, I mean, you've been working on this a lot, would you be
I
willing to
have
be
a
the
lot of
chair?
questions, right?
Yeah, and,
Mr. Chairman, may I speak?
no, not right now.
You have a motion on the floor?
You have a motion on the floor.
What's that?
Yeah, you have a motion on the floor, you haven't voted on it, now you're moving on to something else.
That motion is not valid because there was no second.
You did two, and seconded for discussion.
All right,
What was second for discussion?
No, this is second.
That was long.
All right, okay.
This is.
We're talking about Mr. Verner's motion.
Yeah.
what was the motion, and once again, and do you want to just let it, like,
I'll just withdraw.
yeah, okay, motion to all right. Steve? Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, you say there is no HR committee. There is from, there
Well,
is a-
no, but it has to be
You're
every year.
not, you're appointing a new,
Appointing a new one, yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't carry over, it has to be named, it's supposed to be named first meeting of the year, but we never did it. Okay? Steve would be the chair, and how about Mike? Mike, you've been, curious about a lot of these things, would you want to be on that committee?
That's fine.
Okay. Doug, would you want to be on it?
Well, I think we're getting away from the agenda here.
Yes, we are, but
And-
we were.
And before we start talking about human resources committees and such, I think we need to look at the bylaws and say, because there might be, we may have to put someone on that committee from each section of the district.
Not that one, the budget committee.
Okay, I'm not sure. I just want to make sure.
It's the budget committee. Okay, Dave, you want to be on it?
Motion on the floor, John.
What's that?
I think you got a motion on the floor. I think the first thing you have to do is deal with the motion.
That's been dropped, there is no motion on the floor. All right? We-
No motion, there's no motion to pay the bills?
yeah. You have a motion to pay the,
Billy and Blair, motion second.
Okay, we're getting a little far afield here. All right, is there a second to pay the bills?
I seconded it for discussion, and then Don made another motion for the blanket authorization, and then Doug never seconded it, but that's when the discussion got sidetracked.
All right.
You have to deal with the original motion first before you can do anything else.
Yeah,
So, that's
Right.
what we gotta basically either allow the bills or don't allow before we can talk about it.
okay, all right.
Well, okay, then we're still in discussion on the disbursement.
Okay,
On the disbursements, there's a lot, almost every employee deducted HRA expenses last month.
Yes.
And I guess we don't know how that's tracked or how much is in that fund. And I'd like to know.
Everybody's is different. They hand in a sheet with their receipts. I go through the receipts, I go back, make sure there's no duplication, that they haven't accidentally handed something in before. I go into a spreadsheet that was started in 2000 and what? Early 2000s, a spreadsheet, and every month I put in $100. Every time they use it, I take it up. And then there's comp time that's put in there, so it's, everybody's amount is different.
Yeah. Years ago, there was a motion when they allowed the HRA, and they capped it at $6,000. Is that per employee, or is that per the district?
Employee.
That's per employee.
And nobody's there.
Any other question, Mike?
What actually does HRA cover? What can they turn HRA bills in for?
Everything that the IRS does not allow. The IRS has qualifications.
I mean,
You have to meet them.
okay, medical, like glasses,
Yep.
Yeah.
dental,
Some
Yep.
dental,
prescriptions,
yes? Yeah, I think the IRS code 502, whatever, that's what you're supposed to follow.
Travel to appointments if you choose.
Doctor appointments, hospitalization. Not teeth white.
so if I have a medical appointment in Virginia, then I can turn in my mileage for going to down there?
23 cents a mile, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Only if you have enough in your HRA to pay for it.
that's true too. Okay, I mean, I had no idea what HRA all covered, and maybe you, I didn't realize what all it covered.
Nothing over the counter unless it's prescribed by a doctor. Like you can't go buy allergy pills.
I can't go buy a bottle of Bayer aspirin.
If a doctor writes a script for heart disease.
Okay,
yes.
I think we should,
Okay.
take this up in the committee, name the committee, and you can call committee meeting whenever he feels we can get some people together, okay? So, any more discussion? Call for the question.
Yes.
Mike?
I vote yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
I vote yes.
Are we still on disbursements?
We did that.
Just do that.
Okay, financial report, which consists of,
Again, Mr. Chairman, I think we get a better hold on after our audit. I mean, it's fine. I mean, we're doing- District is within budget. If you see red, it doesn't necessarily mean bad. You can see the comparative analysis from January 1, 2014 to or I should say March 2014 to March 2015. Gives an indication if you're above or below what you're budgeted or what you used. And you need an action on that, Mr. Chairman.
all right,
You take notes. You take notes.
I'll make a motion.
okay. Is there a second to approve the financial reports?
I'll second.
One question. Director just locked out. Awfully.
We can take the annexation and let me talk about that, right?
Hmm?
The annexation.
If I stuff it in there.
Yeah, we take that out.
Now, are you gonna talk more about the punch list and everything?
If that's possible, why not just go to these, cars and get away from this holiday?
Well,
gas?
he just had to request a copy of the punch list for the warrant.
The original, this is great.
Visa, MasterCard, Visa.
Oh, that's the only one there is?
Change your billing on,
Okay.
I don't know, I've never had a hold of it. I never had either, I just.
This is the example. This is the pretreatment building. Okay.
And, you know, it was originally dated July 23rd, 2014, and then, you know, so it's updated here February 2015. And then just to help see, John, what I did is I actually certain items that were new were added, and then I gave some photographs of them, you know, just so the contractor would
Right,
understand.
Dylan, you know, what I was worried about is the 75,000, if that was gonna be enough to do it. That was my only real concern, the details is up to those guys.
Okay, but, like I said, there's about 8 of these, you know, for different buildings and various parts of the project. This is the pre-treatment building. You know, you see it's 2 pages long, and then I just to help it make, you know, tell the contractor, okay, you can see, you just paint and water.
Yeah.
All right.
So, do you feel that the construction documents, you know, the specs, that they, all the specs have been pretty well completed except for the punch list type stuff? You know, I mean, there isn't something that they slid by in the spec or in the, some of the scope of their work that they.
That's dead water.
You know, we're not missing a piece of equipment or anything. You know, Larry Van Hout did question a couple valves down in that extra building. So I'll say there might be something missing. It might be a valve or something like that. And that, you know, we did put on the punch list item, so as far as that.
I mean, it doesn't give a total for a year, what we paid.
Part-time job.
No, I really don't think so. That is, but I don't think anybody planned on it, maybe. No.
How does the public ever weigh in? How does the public ever weigh in?
Well, so we the agenda, you could have called it something like that. I don't know. Oh, no. Right?
I guess when the meeting resumes, can I formally ask to approach the board?
Yeah, if it's germane.
Well, that's right.
I don't think that there's anything to do with the animal shelter, except for the fall to the holidays.
That's what I can honestly provide. I'm the one who hasn't done it.
Maybe next month.
I'm just reading the
Yeah, it was the process. The rationale for the process. We're doing it changed throughout the whole history of it. I mean, it's been on for a long time. We weren't privy to what happened here in this.
It seems to me it's like a lot of consulting fees.
I don't know.
Approved it.
And that's what I can shed some light on because, you know, we had something to do. That's all I'm saying. And then you've got all the information you're gonna get into that.
No, well, only tangentially, I think. No, I don't think, it probably will not, except for some communications.
Well, I'll do this, I'll just wait and see how it goes, if it's gonna get into that at all.
Yeah, well, we can, give you that, yeah, I just don't want any personal.
No, it's not.
Saying.
No, this, I'll make it by and say. I give all you guys, there's nothing. That's how you're here.
Oh, that's all right.
They don't change at all.
I'll approach you.
So we must file our
All right, let's try to get through this. Okay, we've, all right.
Motion second on the financial.
Yeah, are we?
And who was that?
Don and me, I was the motion, Don.
I said.
Doug was the second. Okay, and I have a question. Okay, I probably asked it once before, but when you get down to item 320, dumping, and I'm looking at the income expense one, January through March. Dumping other, what is that at the time? Only certain people are allowed to dump at the times, correct?
We have, in the past, we've had MPCA comes in and they'll take well samples out of Little Fork for some polymers and stuff left in, and they'll spray, air spray it over the ponds. And it's licensed by the MPCA, but if a company does that, we do charge them. It could be that, I don't know what it is this time, but it could be that. They air spray this, whatever the stuff is from the old dry cleaners, from test wells down Little Fork. And the MPCA got a license to air spray it because it dissipates quickly, and when it hits water, that's it.
Does the city dump out there?
The city dumps from the water plant. The city does dump.
And do we charge them?
They dump their flusher truck
Yes.
once in a while.
And then they put solids in the bag, right?
Yeah.
And take care of the solids at a later date.
Do they pump this new dark pump facility?
Crandall might, and it would go there, I
Okay.
reckon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sewer cleaning.
It's not the city though.
Sewer cleaning,
Sewer
yeah.
cleaning, yeah.
The vacuum truck.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's never really been a substantial amount, it's just,
Well, this is one load, $27 is 1,000 gallons.
yeah, so that is a 1,000-gallon load from somebody, and we can find out who that somebody was.
Okay. Okay,
I mean, we could classify it under dumping. I mean, it's just, for some reason, we've had a few special dumping that we gave it, separate coding.
all right, one more?
Yeah, we received income from the floods, and what account did that get?
Just
What?
miscellaneous, no.
Miscellaneous.
I'm not sure, if we put it under miscellaneous or put it under post-retirement.
Yeah, it's just not,
Miscellaneous.
well, it's not showing up here under miscellaneous. So, let me just look.
Okay,
Well, no, the reason I asked is we got 14,000.
Yes, sir.
And I was at a county board meeting, and Teresa's spreadsheet said we got 40,000. So, I don't know how she had 40,000 and we had
But she's
14,000.
wrong.
Okay.
And she's not wrong, she's just mistaken. We have 14,000.
and that was for damage to
Yes.
our facilities
Sandbagging,
and what?
overtime, they paid for our overtime, sandbagging. Yeah,
Shouldn't that go under labor?
what's that, Robert?
Should you put it under labor?
Well, I think we may put it in the general fund and then maybe find a good spot for it, on a later date.
That's where it should go.
Yeah, so it's something we can talk about in committee. It's money, it's sitting in general fund. But no, it wasn't 40,000, it was 14,300.
All right. Okay. PFA loan extension.
Did you vote on that, Mr. Chairman?
No.
I'm
Finance.
I'm sorry about this.
That's not an issue, just gotta wait.
All right, we ready to vote?
Yes.
Yes.
I vote yes.
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 Financial report.
Thank you. I think you took care of your annexation update, Mr. Chairman.
We've taken care of that. And the punch list items, we touched on that as well, as long as Mark was here.
Yep. If you have any more questions for Mark?
No, we did that.
It's leading into the next one, I do have a question for him the PFA loan extension. On our last minutes, it's gonna extend till 6/30, June 30th. And you mentioned Gritter, we might not be approving their punch list till July. Is that gonna be an issue?
Well, no, I guess from the standpoint of going back to media, we pretty much know our final figure. I mean, that, like you said, it's working direction, we're not entering it anywhere, change orders or, with that. So from the standpoint of knowing your final cost with Gritter Construction, you can proceed with the closeout. And if you have, well, I'm just gonna pick a number, you have 6 punch list items that are just going on, and then you finally say, we're tired of it, we're gonna inform their bond council, and you simply go out and have the work performed by somebody else and pay for it out of your retainage with them. That's logistics. But, with Nancy Johnson, again, you're talking a number here over $10 million to put the whole, because you had Wagner Construction, their project, and everything together, what I'll offer is we're not, as far as getting down to the last $2,000 or $5,000, we're just gonna pick a number and then you're gonna enter into your final mortgage agreement with PFA. So I guess, so the answer is, Steve, from the standpoint, rest, we don't want to hold things, you don't want to pay another 6 months of construction interest for, a number here that's down under, let's say, whether it's $5,000 or $10,000, you're still in disagreement with Gritter on.
Could we at our next meeting get an update on the punch list? What items have been completed and how many are left and where we're sitting with that?
Yeah, because I had a request from, I'll just bet, I'm getting emails from subcontractors. They're wondering about, well, where's this at? We're not getting, so I'm just informing them of the status, and like the painters asked me, and so I said today, that's why John showed you the one with the painting items on it. I'm just gonna take time to review that today, and then get back to, the painter in Duluth. Okay, here's what you've got remaining on your punch list. Fine, come up and do it. So, that will be ongoing, and I can have the full punch list put together. Well, it is already put together, but just kind of a status. Are they 80% done with it, 90% done? Out of the 100 and X items on there, how many are left? So, if that's the request for next month, that's what I'll put together then.
Mr. Chairman, I gave Greg a copy of the punch list up to 2 months ago. I don't know if you got them in your desk.
Yeah.
But they're going through them, that this one's done, this one isn't, so that's in the works, but maybe by next month we can have
An update.
or soon.
Okay.
The question I have is the $300 and some $25,000 we received from our settlement. Is that going to be applied to this PFA loan? Or when are we going to decide that?
We got 1 year. Mr. Chairman, you want to speak on it? Probably know just about as much as I do on it.
Well, hopefully we will apply it towards our bond. I mean, I would recommend against spending it on any additional changes, anything like that, but pay it towards our debt service.
And that has to be done at the June 30th?
You just have an extension till June 30th, 2016. You might change your mind. You might want to do something with it. And it'll be more than $325,000. There'll be more there, a little more. You gotta remember, you didn't buy a truck. And that truck was $200,000. So what that final figure is, Nancy will have that figure for us soon.
What did we buy from?
We can buy this like.
Oh, we didn't?
Okay.
That scared me.
No.
All right.
So what percent are we paying on, what's the percent we're paying on this loan?
2%?
2%?
Yeah. You got close to $6 million in grant money,
Uh-huh.
and then low interest 2% money.
Isn't that 325,000 money that we're not going to have to borrow?
Well, there'll be money that won't ever be borrowed if you don't want to be borrowed.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Isn't that, it's not money that we've got in the bank, it's money that we haven't borrowed. Am I right?
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Yep, I mean, it's, during all the payment applications, year 1 through 33, when we held that retainage, right, you got money from the PFA, you didn't get to retain it, so Mr. Farmer is correct, it's simply money that you will not be borrowing at the end. And, so your overall loan package will be, you have the $200,000 line item for the biosolids start that Chopper spoke about. And then you have this 300, so there's, those are items you simply won't include that were in the original budget that won't be in the final total.
All right, we better move on here to new business, hiring of 2 summer students.
You have reports, Mr. Chairman.
What's that now?
We got staff and committee reports.
Oh, okay. All right. Terry Jackson, who's our contract A operator.
Mr. Chairman and Board, good morning. Greg and the staff continue to do a wonderful job in protecting your investment by monitoring process control parameters to maintain standard state and federal effluent limitations. And they also have a great preventive maintenance program that will protect equipment from breaking down in the future. Unfortunately, we haven't heard the results of Greg's test is coming on a month, so we're hopeful that we may hear something this week. But things are looking good, and Greg has the operation report today.
And the reason for that is the amount of test takers?
Yeah, there were probably 125 people that took tests, various tests, and they're short-staffed at MPCA, I know that, so that's probably why this is taking more time than usual.
Okay, thank you, Terry.
Question. Terry, the effluent flows, I mean, how much down are we from the previous year due to the snowpack? I mean,
It was a good spring for snow melt, because it kind of came gradually. It was colder at night, so I would say, can you answer that question, Greg?
Very quickly, I can add a little bit. If you look at your numbers, it's really kind of weird, because last year at this time, remember, we hadn't had a thaw yet.
yeah.
So we had our thaw, so you see a little more I&I just in your reports than you saw last year at this time. All hell didn't break loose until about 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now, last year. So actually, your numbers are higher right now than they were last year at this time, because you still had snowpack.
And that will result in savings to the district then?
Well, yeah, you won't have the I&I you had
Treat
last
less.
year.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the guys have done a great job in controlling the pond level, so you're in good shape for anything that may come.
They're down? Yeah, they're down.
Okay, is that it for Terry?
How many gallons a day is the plant designed for?
It's three MGD, 3 million gallons.
3 million?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, is that it? Greg?
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, just a couple things here from last month. As of April 1st, we have to start chlorinating and dechlorinating. We started that up March 26th, just to get all our set points set right and our dosages for chlorine, so we can meet our effluent limits. Before we did that, we dropped both chlorine contact tanks, cleaned them up, washed them down. And by doing that, that reduces our chlorine dosage a little bit, helps save on chlorine. We contacted Cervical Instruments, and they're supposed to be here at the end of the month or in the first part of May to calibrate our flow meters. We do that twice a year, and we're due for that right now, so we got a hold of them, and they said they will be here like the last week of April here. We've also been running our gravity belt thickener a couple days a week. And we were, like Mark said, the drive is back in for the mixer, to run the mixer motor for the sludge tank, and it's operating right now. Also regarding sludge in the tank, we talked to Paul Montaigne with Mountain Environmental, and he's gonna be up here the first of next month. And we're gonna go through different sites that he wants to haul to and just kind of touch base with him a little bit. Bob normally took care of most of this stuff with Montaigne, of where the sites were, the application rates and stuff, so John Harris and I are gonna sit down with him and go through all that and get up to speed on that with him. And we'll decide where we're gonna go with the sludge and when he's gonna be able to haul it. Also, we just received on April 7th, we received 3,650 gallons of ferric sulfate that we're using in the filter building. We average about 50 gallons per day, and our residual is about 0.4 milligrams per liter. Our limit is 1, so we're running about 0.4 right now. Also, we received a 55-gallon barrel of polymer that we use for the gravity belt thickener that helps thicken our sludge when we run it through the press. That goes to the sludge storage tank. Last thing here is, last month we did meet all our effluent requirements. We submitted our DMR successfully, and if anything comes up, when we go to submit our DMR, if anything's not meeting standards, we'll get a notification right away, but it was submitted successfully, so we are meeting all our requirements right now. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Okay, director's report.
Very quickly, Mr. Chairman, just finishing up sorting and cataloging WSN and liquidated damage and legal issues. Staff meetings in the morning, Greg stops by, and I really appreciate that. Other staff members stop over. Working with John Harris on a project, and Greg's been involved with John Harris mainly, and Terry's involved a little. We talked about a little bit about it. It's a it has prepared, whatever the word is, preparatory, back forward. I can't talk about it, but we're making sure that we can handle anything that would come to the district. And before anything's done, it would be brought to the board, of course. But it's an interesting aspect, and staff would have to okay it first and run it past Terry and then run it past you guys. Mark Hallen has been involved with it with me. It's an interesting project, but it is on the QT at this time. I could possibly talk to the chairman about it. No secrets. It is private information at this time. East Kooch meeting, special meeting. Hopefully meeting staff needs, working on continuing small budget items and tweaks for the budget committee when it's ready to meet, and everyday issues, and hopefully helping Stacy out on an everyday thing. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Steve?
Sorry, I had a question on, I know Boise, they got chlorine in like tanker cars, rail cars. How does our chlorine come in and how much do we use?
We get it in 150-pound cylinders. It's gas.
Okay.
Yeah. We order that once a month.
Is that regulated pretty strictly or how is, I don't know.
Well, you guys have safety program, you have safety equipment.
Yeah.
It's pretty important. It's dangerous.
We don't do our own emergency work. We have the fire department do a lot of that. Any of that emergency stuff for us. Yeah.
Okay.
We usually have 2 guys there when we change a cylinder.
Okay.
But you have breathing apparatus and stuff like
Breathing
that.
apparatus.
And protective coveralls.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Okay. On the new business, the hiring of 2 summer students. Greg, you want to?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, we'd like to get 2 summer help kids this year if we could. There's quite a bit of maintenance to do out in the field that we're, gonna be in for, and it'd be nice to have an extra summer help kid. Because we got one kid basically on grounds all the time, taking care of mowers, the grounds, odds and ends around the plant, and it'd be nice to have an extra hand if somebody's gonna go out in the field and do.
I think you've had 2 in the past, well, in the recent past.
In the recent past, we have, yeah.
They have a lot of maintenance in the summertime, and that's when most of the maintenance is. And so they've had real good luck with the summer help. Real good workers. So
And East Kooch helps pay too, Mr. Chairman.
okay,
That would help a lot.
do you want to?
I would so move approving the hiring of 2 summer help.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Robert seconds. Okay, Steve.
I remember last year, wasn't it just Kyle?
Yeah, we have
We had one last year. So was this tool budgeted for 2015?
Because we didn't have much mowing last year, Steve, because the grounds were in disrepair, we didn't feel we needed a lot of groundwork as we usually needed. And we also didn't get to the pump needs, so Kyle was helping the guys out, doing the groundwork that was needed. There's gonna be a tremendous amount of groundwork this year, and we wanna get into some real cleaning, and repair this year, so.
So it wasn't budgeted?
What's that?
One was budgeted?
I think one was budgeted last year.
Did we budget for 1 or 2 this year?
I think we budgeted for 2 this year. We saw this grass issue coming, so I'm sure Bob and I sat down and decided to do it in the budget. And that would have to be advertised, and that has to be authorized in the motion, because there will be a cost to that.
Who is gonna oversee these 2 employees?
I'll oversee them and the rest of the staff will too. They'll be used where they need to, where they're needed.
We've had good luck in the past and bad luck, and Greg will stay on it. A lot of work to do.
They have been well worth the money.
There's an awful lot of grass to be cut.
Oh, yeah, it all comes at once. All right, any more discussion on the hiring of 2 summer help? There's a motion.
That motion, Mr. Chairman,
And
includes
Don
the...
and Robert, and I guess a friendly amendment would go along with that is to advertise, as they have done in the past, for the 2 positions. Is that okay? All right, call for question.
Yes.
I vote yes.
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 No.
I vote yes. Okay, signatory at Bremer Bank, are we okay with that?
As long as everybody signs it today, I can get it back to the bank, and then as soon as it's filed, you can sign it.
Okay, you've got that, or where is that?
I saw it somewhere on the table a while ago.
So we'll get
3
that.
copies that we signed?
Yes, 3, and just Doug and I were.
No, everybody has to sign it. Everybody that was on there, Dawn, Steve, you, myself,
Okay,
and Tom, I think have to sign.
Okay, can we, it's not in this folder.
Where your yellow tabs are.
No, that was, that's some kind of a
That's your minutes.
mistake.
that need to be signed.
No, it's here.
Is it down there, Jim?
And Doug and Johnny signed.
Oh, here it is, right down here. I need that. I'll sign it.
Can I don't know how many signatures you need on all this here for PFA, so you'll have to do that. So I need Tom Work, Tim McBride, Don Billig, Stephen Blair, Stacy Can, and Dave Furman.
Okay, let's just take a second to do that. While we're doing that, there's correspondence. The only item of correspondence I see is one from Widsith, and we covered that when we voted for that amendment, the signatures.
Amendment 1.
Amendment 1, yeah. Okay.
John signs these. Yeah, left one.
I think you're on page 2.
Well, I don't, well. You want to be the owner of it?
Mark, who signs where here on this one?
Just right here, the
owner being the first district to sign.
Pardon? Yeah, they got to. Busy, chapter.
Chopper.
Okay. And then
Okay, are we all, are we okay with that now, Stacy?
That's good, okay.
All right.
Mr. Chair,